Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'll just give us some marks so we're... okay. Oh, nice echo. Goodness me. So, hi. We are on the run. No preliminaries. I'm just going to say welcome, Timo. Fresh off the stage at RetailX. We're stuck in a glass corner, somewhere in a glass atrium. So let's let the sound engineers do what they can. Timo, just in case there's anybody who doesn't know who you are, tell us who you are and a little bit about Gousto.
I'm Timo Boldt. I started Gousto 13 years ago. We let you choose whatever you like to eat, send you the ingredients, and all you need to do is cook, but in a very basic way. Anyone can do it, and hopefully we make your life healthier, more fun, more togetherness. We free up your time. It's the most convenient way. With 200 recipes to choose from. And we've come a long way in the last 13 years.
Well, I was stunned because in my mind, you started last year and you're a brand new startup. I mean, you still look
I'm glad to hear.
Fresh.
This is
I know,
what we're
but
trying
you've been through the massive rise of mobile, you've been through COVID, post-COVID, and here we are later. So with that startup mentality, tell us firstly why you thought, do you know what the world needs is ingredients in a box?
Look, 40% of food is wasted in this country, and it has the biggest ever impact on CO2 emissions. And so there has to be a better way to do food retailing. And also you as a customer, you don't want to push the trolley, you run around the crazy toddlers. There has to be a simpler way to eat a healthy diet without compromising. Right? There are lots of kind of quick fixes, but they cost more. They make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Food is traveling on a motorbike. It just, there's so much compromise involved.
Yeah.
And so we really, really want to provide customers with a better way to eat dinner while having a positive impact on the planet.
Yeah.
And so that was the premise 13 years ago. It still is. That's the purpose. That's the vision. We want to be the most loved way to eat dinner. And so it's all about you as a customer. How can we make your life better every single week?
Because you do say better, not easier. So again, I'm thinking about my kids who sometimes they just want protein in their face now.
For sure.
And other times they really enjoy cooking. So even though we've set a differentiation between rapid food delivery, they sort of live hand in hand with a different mindset. Sometimes I'm cooking, sometimes I'm watching telly and just wanted delivery. So how over that decade have you grown alongside the other food options?
Look, 13 years ago, we started offering, choose your box today, get it in like 10 days, choose from 5 recipes.
Yeah.
Today, Gousto has 200 recipes on the menu, but you should see a very different menu than I see, and it should be personalized to your needs and your family. And you should get it next day delivered at a price point of, from $3.20. And so incredible value, fresh from the farm, UK meat. And there's anything, something for everyone. There's a 10-minute recipe. There's a 5-minute prep recipe. There's the Joe Wicks range. There's the Wagamama range. There's so much
I'm feeling
choice.
hungry already.
Oh, yeah, you must get onto the
We
app.
shouldn't be doing this before lunch. And over that time, what have been the growth vectors of your business? So has there been more recipes, more customers, more locations, all of the above?
All of the above.
It's just been growing in every way?
Look, at the end of the day, the 1 billion meals eaten across the UK, lunch and dinner times 68 million people times 7, 1 billion meals. Our share of stomach is 0.2%.
I love that share of stomach.
And so, we're a drop in the ocean. And as long as we keep on obsessing about you and giving you more value for your money, right? Everyone's budget is stretched. We want to cater to the masses, not the classes. And so we really want to be a mass market solution across the UK. And so, look, as long as we push the boundary on delivery speed, on options, 200 recipes today, how much can you customize them so that your son is getting his protein and, I don't know, the daughter might turn
All he
vegan.
wants is protein, and yes, she is turning vegan.
We've got the Protein XL range, so,
But, when we talk about share of stomach, my new favorite metric now, where do you think the convenience health share of stomach will get to? So imagine you're talking to your investors and say, you have to hit 12% share. So what is the number that you think it's going to go to, especially in the context of the challenges to quick delivery, the rebalancing of that as the VC money has fled? Where do you think it's going to go?
I mean, firstly, on that VC money point, yeah, quick commerce is gone. For us, it's an amazing time because we're sitting on a business of 400 million revenue, deeply profitable, generating positive cash
Deeply
flow.
profitable. I love that as well.
And it's such a privilege to lead this business. 1,300 exceptional people, and so we genuinely feel very privileged. It's easy to enter this market. It's very hard to scale this in a way kind of customers appreciate the value.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's all about that share of stomach and how do we take it from 0.2 to 1%. And at the end of the day, it's if we can deliver convenience without the compromise, so you're not feeling guilty from a budget perspective, from a health perspective, from a CO2 perspective, and really giving you and your family what you need when you need it.
So let's talk about, you've mentioned sustainability a lot, and I really get the whole lack of waste, affordable yet healthy. But one of the criticisms of queue delivery was that the last mile or two was very wasteful and had a high cost. So in a way, you're saving the planet in one bit. How do you then keep the delivery bit that other people found so challenging to be within that overall approach?
So the difference is we piggyback on the existing ambient supply chain, and so you order your box. The box is compartmentalized, has a chill box in it, and so if you take into account end to end the entire impact from a CO2 perspective, every single time you order Gousto, you're saving 23% of CO2 emissions, or 7 kilos, versus the equivalent supermarket shop. We had Bristol University do a study. We had an independent think tank challenge that study and prove it.
Right.
And so we feel really proud. Obviously 23%, who cares? Why could it not be 50, 60%? And so we're pushing really hard. Our entire packaging will be reusable, compostable, recyclable by the end of this year. We're pushing enormously hard on these things. And so we're constantly making it better for you to eat, again, without compromising in any way and not think about it, but have a positive impact.
Yeah. So back to the customer then. Do they see you as a once-a-week treat? Are you literally taking over every lunch Monday to Friday for them? What's the sort of interaction you have with the customer, and where do you fit into their lives?
So it's predominantly dinner. It's predominantly a midweek kind of solution, so like Monday to Thursday. Yes, we have lots of customers ordering on a weekend, but it's kind of that midweek where dinner is the toughest of the meals per week. It's really difficult. Then the stakes are really high. You gotta please the son and
the wife and everyone else, and my reputation as a chef, of course.
Exactly. And you don't want to have the food waste and hassle. And so our customers are kind of 35 to 55, fairly wide range outside of that.
Young people, as I call them.
Squarely focused on you and your family. And people are competitively busy. They have no time. However, 89% of dinner in this country is cooked from scratch. 50 Shades of Grey, right? There's a basil-infused tomato sauce, and then there's an hour of cooking.
That's it.
And we want to provide everything within that kind of spectrum, from the super quick stuff to the extravaganza where you want to impress somebody without kind of the wasting of weird ingredients. One click and it turns up and you cook it and you're happy.
Good. Now I'm going to talk about where the business is going, but I want to just take a segue to you because our listener, who isn't watching the video, now has a picture of you in your chef's whites and toque, and they're thinking, this is Chef Timo. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before and how you managed to persuade everyone that this was a really good idea 12 years ago.
It's a charming accent. Look, I used to work in finance, as one did pre-financial crisis.
Where there was a thing.
I'm a geeky person. I like numbers. I like statistics. I taught statistics at university, and then one of my professors said, "You should really go into banking." I had no idea what banking is. Somebody said, "Look, there's a job in London." I had never been to the UK. Finished my final exam. Next day on the plane to the UK.
Superb.
That was in 2008. Financial crisis came. So, it's been amazing. I gained kind of a toolbox. I met friends for life, but I didn't see the purpose. All everyone cared about to be money. And so I felt like, and I had lived in California before, and my godparents pushed me start a food business, you love food, you love cooking, you love quality.
Interesting.
And so
Yeah.
I absolutely, I traveled to Italy, did cooking classes. And so they kept on pushing. You can always get a job in finance. Just, quit your job. No kids, no mortgage. What are you doing? Age 26. And so back then, it didn't feel as risky as it would feel today.
Yeah.
But back then, there was nothing to lose. And I felt like if this fails, I at least learn how to cook.
Well, great. And we must find a way of testing that out. Maybe we should do something like the Gousto challenge where we get a whole pile of people with the same ingredients and then we do a taste test at the end.
Nice.
Now, earlier on today, you're on stage and you were mentioning that you've internationalized your selling to Ireland, so fantastic. I'm sorry to say, I already thought you were international and selling all over Europe. So, congratulations on Ireland. Do you think that France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, are they just waiting for you, or is it a different dynamic there?
I think it's a different dynamic. I think there's certain countries, Germany, for example, dinner is called dinner bread, Abendbrot.
Right.
And there's a reason, because people take out the slice of bread and put the cheese and sausage on top and they're done.
Yeah.
I think it's culturally a difficult market. Aldi, Lidl have a huge market share. It's a stingier, when it comes to dinner, it's a stingier market and less open-minded towards convenience and online. And look, France, Italy, Spain have very strong
homes
cultural
of food, yes.
But there's Scandinavia, there's the Netherlands, Belgium. So there are a couple of countries that, in my mind, make perfect sense and we'll go to. There's obviously the US, there's Canada, there's Australia. So there are tons of markets. And so for us to 10x again seems imminently possible. But it's about focus and rigorously obsessing about the customer, not getting carried away.
So what did you find when you moved to Ireland then? Was it, this is what we've trained for, we're 12 years in, we're rocking our own game? Or was it, wow, I didn't expect that and we've amended things?
Look, we're 7 or 8 weeks into Ireland, so this is day one, literally. The launch was incredibly well done. We can talk about Bento in a sec, but we have our subscription technology platform called Bento, where we've taken our technology built over 13 years, put it into Bento. They launched Gousto. Launch was ahead of time. Super proud of the team.
Actually, we're drifting into that. Just tell me the quick learning, because I want to go back to Bento, because it's really interesting.
No, but that was day one. So the launch was fantastic. We were kind of, biting our nails. Will this launch succeed? And tons of challenges, but big picture, launched successfully. Now we're kind of in the 1 to 100 scaling game, no longer 0 to 1, and it's a different game. And so we have no brand awareness in that market. We have to somehow build it. We have to figure out the acquisition channels. They're very different. People listen to podcasts more than in the UK.
Oh, interesting.
There are all kinds of challenges. Obviously, you want to
You need to have Irish a podcast that takes exactly the amount of time between opening the ingredients and serving.
Amazing,
That's my gift to
voice.
you. My gift to you.
It's good.
So we're talking about Bento. So my understanding is you've had all this learning from your self-serve technology, which you now packaged up and it's available to others. So being simplistic, it's like an Ocado systems for supermarkets. You can now offer that. Have I mistaken that?
Directionally, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Just to be a little bit more nuanced, what we do is we focus on physical goods subscriptions. And so whether you are selling beauty products, razor blades, whatever, as a subscription, or we have a liquor company in Australia using Bento. So we are actually international, right?
Yes.
But these types of businesses that really have not found any solution that fits for them, subscriptions are difficult. You want to make it as kind of customer-centric as possible. You want to win at referrals. You want to win at kind of basic algorithms, churn prediction, recommendations. And so we kind of spend hundreds of millions of pounds. We've got 300 people working in technology, product, data science. And so we packaged up everything we built, everything that's proven into Bento to give everyone these kind of tools to win in e-commerce.
So we spend a lot of time telling everyone we've solved problems, it's easy, here's a magic kilogram of tech that'll sort it out. So we see a lot of people who've maybe got D2C businesses who then add a quote-unquote subscription element. And the technology's there, but it's kind of an 80% solution. So if you were offering a bit of friendly advice to someone and saying, look, we can give you our lovely software, we can give you our learnings, one thing you need to watch out for that won't be as easy as you think, or the technology won't solve, is ... What are the tips you'd offer people as they start moving into subscriptions?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, your job is to obsess about the customer and to figure out what's generic, what's really, value differentiating that your customers will love. And if you have finite resource, as we all have, don't focus on the generic stuff. Get it off the shelf, buy it in. Don't operate generic domains. Really obsess about what's important to the customer.
That's a nice one.
And so developer to domain ratio is kind of what we focus on, right?
Nice.
Gousto should not, operate generic stuff like subscriptions, because all of us need subscription technology. And so Bento is sorting that out for everyone, not just Gousto.
So that's the technology side. And we saw your chief product officer on stage, who was fantastic. Had total beard envy as well. That was fun. Great presentation, very lucid. So that's now off and running with obviously a great team in front of it. So now that you're relaxing, thinking about what's next, what are your priorities? So if you look at the next 10 years, because you don't look to me like a man who's about to get a different job. So
no.
Gousto in 10 years from now.
Until I'm 95. Look, more and more value for you and your family, and food is emotional, right? It's so easy for you to launch a meal kit company, but to get scale is really, really hard. And so how do you make this as family-centric as possible, taking into account that the daughter is turning vegan for 12 weeks, the son wants XL protein.
Yes.
You might care about your fiber, gut health.
You're literally looking at my emails, absolutely, yes.
And so, we get you, we feel you. And you need to build technology capabilities, automation capabilities. We should go up, by the way, to see one of our factories. It's hugely fun.
I will take that as a contractual invite, and I accept.
Absolutely. But you'll see the complexity, what goes on to serve these 80 million dinners this year alone. It's hugely complex. And so we really want to be there for your family. So more choice, more relevant choice, more personalization, more customization. Everything to power your family's life without the compromise.
Well, we need to come around, get you around for a cook-in. Just before we finish off, and I'll let you get back to the conversations that people are really keen to chat to you. If you look back over the last year and think, we added a great recipe, what is your favourite one of the 200 that you're going to head home tonight?
I'm going to open my app. Look, I mainly order vegetarian. I buy 5 Gousto meals every single week, so I had like 1,000 plus. What I love the most is the variety. There's 75 vegetarian recipes, stuff I would never cook, and I feel like I'm fairly advanced. I've taken cooking classes and so on, but it's just stuff I would never buy. And then, the spices come pre-proportioned, so I don't have to buy the jar. I buy like weird stuff every week with Gousto, but I don't have to chuck out the jar of spices. And so it's just how it fits into my life. I don't have any time, so I buy 10-minute recipes, 5-minute prep.
Oh, right.
It's good. It's
excellent. Good. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your presentation. For the people listening to the podcast, they'll go, what? I've missed it already. Too late. It's over. But we'll be back next year. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Now, I'm just going to press, I think it's stop. Oh, long press to stop.